What's up, guys? So today I'm going to give you a technique that I created some years ago that you can use when a girl flakes on you after you've set a date up, or she ghosts you on the day of and there's no communication. So no matter who you are, flaking is going to happen, right? It doesn't matter how good your game is, it's inevitable, right? So before we get into the actual technique, let's talk about some reasons why a girl would flake on you to begin with. So here are the main ones. Number one, lack of value. So this is an obvious one. It's sort of overlooked, but if you have little to no value, there's going to be far less incentive for the girl to meet you, especially over other options, right? What I would do if I got flaked on, I would first go over my interaction. That could be over text, if it's a Tinder date, or if it's a, day game number close. I'd go over my interaction and see if I DHB'd enough, right? If I displayed enough value or no value. A lot of guys don't DHB whatsoever. So that's number one. Number two, and this kind of goes along with value, and that's being way too eager to go on a date with the girl, right? It's being too needy, it's being too desperate, right? You may have value, you may have attraction, but if she feels like you're just too easy, too simple, you're too eager, you're too desperate, you're too needy, then she may put you aside and go after another guy who's less desperate, less needy, maybe has a little bit more value, right? So someone like Alexander Lindbergh or Marcus Wolf, they're going to get the girls to qualify, they're going to make them chase a little bit, and they're not going to present themselves as someone that's super eager to meet, that they can meet at any point, right? So they're gonna take their opportunity and go meet up with Alex before they meet up with someone who's a bit too eager to go on the date. The third one is there are concerns or objections that you didn't handle well or you didn't handle at all. In some cases, I've seen guys not be able to read into the subtle cues the girls are trying to give them, right? It could be very subtle or it could be very obvious. The girls are expressing, communicating. There are certain concerns, objections they have before meeting. It's rather rare that the girl's going to straight up tell you, hey, this is my objection. Can you take care of this, right? Can you put my mind at ease? Whatever it is, it's very rare. So go over your interactions, make sure that you've handled these objections or you didn't look past some subtle concerns. And the last one is, she may legit be fucking busy, right? It is possible, shit happens. Like her grandma may actually be in the hospital. She might have actually forgot she had plans with family, whatever it is, right? She may actually have good reason why. And what I see way too often is guys on the day of will push and push and push for the meet, right? Even if they have really no compliance, they will push for the meet. It's either we're meeting today or never. They're willing to blow out that interaction and have zero chance to see this girl ever again. So it's important to have some fucking patience, first of all, right? It's okay to, meet her another day, move on, go talk to another girl, go out to the club, whatever it is, have some fucking patience, right? Don't be fucking needy, don't be desperate. And being desperate needy, it lowers your value, right? So it decreases your chances of her actually wanting to meet up. But flaking happens, but you want to avoid it completely, obviously, but you want to really avoid getting flaked on multiple times, right? Okay, you get flaked on once, you can handle that. But once, she flakes on you, ghosts you, or reschedules a second or a third time, and I've seen this a lot. There are students who are talking about girls rescheduling on them 4, 5, 6 times, right? And never meeting the girl the first time, which is crazy. It gets the girl in this comfortable state where she feels like you are the guy that she can flake on and that you'll always be there, right? Like I talked about earlier, she's comfortable. She knows you're gonna be around. She knows, she could flake on you 7 or 8 times and hit you up on the 9th time and you'd be more than willing to drop everything and meet up with her. She could go meet up with Alex and she could meet up with Mark, and then eventually if Mark or Alex flakes on her, she can, go with you. You're always available. So how do you avoid falling into the frame of a guy that she can flake on, constantly reschedule. It's a bit disrespectful, right? So the answer is to take away that frame from the start, right? Don't wait for a second or a third flake. Take away that frame from the start. So there's gonna be two situations. One, she messages you and cancels the day of. So it's, she's gonna apologize. Sorry, I forgot I had plans. My grandma died, this or that. The second one is she simply ghosts you, right? She ignores your confirmation message that you should send 2 or 3 hours before the date, and she just simply doesn't show up. She ghosts you. There's no communication. There's no actual verbalized text flake. And the first thing you don't want to do is blow up her fucking phone. You don't want to get bitter. You don't want to get angry. Avoid that completely. Don't message her. Read it, ignore it, put your fucking phone down. So what I do if I get a message like that, hey, I'm sorry, I can't make it, this came up, or I forgot I had other plans. I'll read it, and I'll put the phone away, and the next day I will message her. So I'll put it up on the screen. Hope you're not mad. I got super busy and totally forgot about our date. I'll make it up to you sometime. Have a good one. So here I'm flipping the frame, right? I'm the one that's flaking on her. I'm also gently framing her as being upset that I flaked on her. Hope you're not mad. And I also show indifference while leaving the possibility of meeting. I tell her to have a good day, and I don't try to reschedule immediately. I do not push it. I leave it open for her to bring up that idea. Right. So I'm showing indifference with, have a good one. Leaving the possibility open for I'll make it up to you sometime. This gives her a chance to, try to reschedule or ask you, well, how are you going to make it up to me? And that way it gives you an opportunity to sexualize if you want to, throw in a sexual innuendo. Now there's another line that I use, and this is when the girl sends an apology message the day of, like, hey, I'm sorry, I can't make it, blah, blah, blah. So I'll put this on the screen as well. No worries, I'm on a date right now, and it may last much longer than expected. So this line insinuates that you might have flaked on her anyway, right? It sort of undoes her flaking. It also shows pre-selection. You're on a date right now, and it may last much longer than expected. So what is that insinuating? Well, you're having a good time, right? And you may take her home, you may have sex with her. This is what the girl's going to be thinking. You could add your own DHVs or pre-selection in this line. For example, you could say, no worries, I'm on a date right now. You could say, with a fun Swedish girl or a adventurous Swedish girl. I mean, you could also throw in Swedish model, but I think that's a little bit too risky because she may call you out on it and go, okay, now I know you're full of shit, right? This line worked really well for me. I've had girls hit me up, a couple hours later after I sent that message at midnight, 1 a.m., most likely to see if I'm still with that girl, right? So this really gets in their fucking head. That's why these two lines work very well, right? It really gets in their head. So what are they gonna be thinking? Why did he flake on me? Was it because of another girl? Am I not hot enough? She gets devalidated, right? That validation strip. So what does that mean? She's going to have to get that validation back from you. How the fuck does she do that, right? Unless you willingly give it to her right after sending that message, which a lot of guys will do anyway, right? So how do you do that? How does she get the validation back after you've devalidated her? One, you reschedule, or she reschedules and you accept, which is always a good thing. That's what you want. Number two is actually getting you in person. Actually getting you in person on a date, right? That's when she could feel validated again. Well, sometimes just rescheduling or accepting that is not enough because, well, you could flake on her a second time. And women's ego usually won't be able to handle getting flaked on a second time or a third time, right? They can't handle that, and they're not going to risk that, right? So what responses are you gonna get from this, right? And there's a number of responses, but the two main responses that I get when I send something like this. So one is that she's going to be a bit bitter, actually, right? She's gonna say, no, I'm the one that flaked on you, right? She's gonna get a bit defensive. Now, that's fine. I wish she could respond like that, but what you don't want to do is engage. Do not fall into that frame. Don't acknowledge that she's even said that, right? Because once you do, you fall into that frame. Do not argue. Do not have a back and forth. A lot of guys will still do this. They will still do this. I've seen it many times. They'll have an argument about who flaked on who and all this stuff. And once you do that, it's over. You've fallen into a frame. It becomes confrontational and you're done. So if you argue, if you have a back and forth or if you even acknowledge that kind of response, you're done with, okay? Change the topic, move fucking forward, straight up. The second one is she accepts your frame. This is even better, right? She may say, it's okay, or I forgive you, or hey, okay, that's fine, I understand. Shit happens, let's reschedule. Which means she's falling into the frame that you flaked on her, right? And this is always a good thing. And this gives you a chance to reschedule the date, right? So go ahead and try this line, comment how it worked out for you, post in the group, and let me know. See ya.